And Fox 5 staying on top of the serious allegations made against the Washington football organization. Several women who have worked for the team claim there is a culture of inappropriate behavior. Jim Loke going one-on-one with an attorney after this break.
Welcome back, and we go back to the biggest story of the night. More chaos for Washington's football team. New allegations tonight of sexual harassment from about 15 women. This is not to the level of a lawsuit yet, but certainly we're hearing a lot about it. Let's talk about more with attorney Loretta Powers joining us live tonight here on Fox 5. Loretta, so we know that we've had this national reckoning when it comes to sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, misbehavior in the office. And it seems like for women who work in the sports world, this is something that they are also experiencing right now.
Right. You kind of wonder, how could something like this happen for decades? Here's why. I was not surprised to hear that 14 out of the 15 women signed a non-disclosure agreement. Oftentimes, whenever sexual harassment in the workplace is happening, employers will offer a, quote, severance package. But in order to get this money, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement saying that you won't say anything negative about the organization. So even if you wanted to sue for sexual harassment or gender discrimination based on comments such as, oh, please make sure to wear a tight dress so that the guys have something to look at, you can't really sue because the NDA keeps those facts from getting out.
So we've been learning more and more about this, and there was a lot of speculation, here in the D.C. sports sphere over the last 24 hours as to what this would contain. There were some allegations, there were some concerns about behavior when it came to a trip to Costa Rica involving some of the team's cheerleaders back in 2018. That was a situation that apparently had been addressed at that point. But you've worked on many of these sort of sexual harassment cases in the past. Again, we should point out you do not have anything to do with this situation right now. We should clarify that for everybody at home. But for the women, as they get their get their story out there, which is what they did with the Washington Post, where does this go from here? If you sign a non-disclosure agreement, I mean, what do you do?
Right. So if you violate the non-disclosure agreement, that could potentially bankrupt you. So you might have no other choice but to sue for sexual harassment and gender discrimination and hope that any money that you collect after attorney's fees is going to be enough so that you could break that non-disclosure. But for sexual harassment cases, all you need to show is a hostile work environment. And from what these ladies are alleging, it seems to be that, and it seems to have happened for years.
Well, clearly, we have the women getting their story out there. Obviously, the men who are accused, they have opportunities to get their side out there because there are certainly they certainly have a right to. But we've not heard much. A lot of these people involved have not said much, or they've offered no statement. There's pressure on the team owner Dan Snyder. The NFL. There are some people that believe the NFL could force him to sell the team. Is this, based on what we've seen so far, and I know what you've seen so far is what we've seen in this article, does it rise to that level? I mean, is it incumbent upon the leader of the organization to get out of the way, or is this internal investigation that they're going through? Would that likely suffice?
Well, where there's smoke, there's fire. And already 3 people that were involved have either retired or have been fired. So that just speaks volumes to the amount that they want to kind of do a little bit of damage control on this. But I mean, we've seen similar cases where they end up settling before it even gets to a trial for sometimes tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, and again, it just goes back to the fact that we've had this national reckoning over the last couple of years, and we've seen it in the news industry, we've seen it in Hollywood. I don't think it's a big surprise that we've seen it here and there in the sports industry as well, but regardless, that is the world we live in 2020.
Exactly.
All right, that is Loretta Powers. Loretta, thank you so much for the legal take on this tonight.
Thank you.